Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. Noobs, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving me these 20 seconds. Goodbye. Regs, back at it again. We do what we do. 1 century, 1 day. Yeah, you know. And nonverbal peeps, I ain't forgot you. I just got to keep it short at the beginning to keep people's attention. Facts. I have been working on my patience for sure. And it's not something that I am actively doing. It's something that I'm mindful of. Most of the time, I can find my balance. Most of the time, I can find my center. Most of the time, I can get to my happy place as fast as I can. But there's those times where it's just not possible. There's those times where it is extremely difficult to get there, to say the least. Extremely difficult to say the least, to get there. I've been trying different methods. I've been doing different things to help me along, to help me get there on a few occasions where I just can't get there. And I definitely say this is where me and continuing to do my practicing of meditation and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm not doing it quite as often as I used to. I'll be 100 because I'm a truth teller. I'll keep it 100 because I am a truth teller. And if I can't tell the truth, and if I can't speak truth to power, truth, period, then what's the purpose? Not saying that yeah. And it's more so of finding different methods, finding something that works, finding multiple things that works, because every occasion, every situation isn't the same. Different things present itself, and something can be so similar to the next situation, and I can be able to figure it out on the fly because it was similar to something that I've already experienced or something that someone told me about or mentioned, and all of the things can come together, and I can just flip a coin, and maybe it worked, maybe it won't. And that's life. That is life. It's never going to be all the way perfect. And it's never going to be all the way bad unless that's what you do. Unless that's what you choose. Yeah, you pick and you choose. Your world, the rest of us just living in it up until the point where it's someone else's world and we just living up in it. You got to jump. Okay. I ain't going to crisscross you up. Not now. Most of the time, I'm able to get this patience. Most of the time, I'm able to figure out how to get to the happy place, how to find my center, how to figure things out on the fly, and just usually let my intuition and gut feeling take over. But when me and intuition and gut feeling, my anticipation game ain't on the same page, or I'm fighting with it for whatever reason be, it's hard. It is hard. And there was a situation on two different, and I should give this enough time to breathe, but I'm not going to give this enough time to breathe because you see something, say something, and I really don't want to take it back to past seasons because I would like to continue to grow and continue to grow personally. And continue to strive for greatness and the new. But I guess I can find a different way to, I guess I can find a different way to initiate this. Cause I definitely don't want to take it back to, prior seasons. Cause you can just go back and review the historical documents for those. You can go back and review the historical documents on those. And I'm not talking about customer service either. Customer service, I feel like I've done that so many times. There's been so many different occasions. There's been so many different things and factors that come up that I was unable to verify, or I was unable to know that it was going to happen. And I just went with the flow. My patience with customer service is good. It's great. I've been challenged many, many, many times within the past, I'll say couple months, but for the purpose of this, we'll say years, where I'm able to tap in to whatever I need to tap into and get there and have this understanding that they are there to make sure that I am getting the service that I need. And they are there to be the bridge between me and getting some kind of answer or getting something that I need done. So berating them, having this bad energy to them, and just transferring my energy that's negative, that's anger, that's why is this happening, or why did this happen, and making it as if they were the one who did this. Those days for me are gone. And it's not to say that this won't happen maybe once in a blue moon. Well, blue moons come a lot, huh? Once every blood wolf moon on a Sunday. That's probably extremely rare. So I'm going to go with that one. It's going to happen. It's going to come up. But for the most part, I figured it out and I have a deeper understanding, and I can just go to that place where I am all right and okay. Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's hard. But regardless, I always get to where I need to get to. And it took a lot of patience, and it took a lot of practice. And I'm just trying to not necessarily use that same formula that I did to get to that area, or to get to that mindset, or to get to that framework with that, and transfer it over into other parts of my life where I need patience. Because no, it's no cookie cutter method. It's not a science. It's not a formula that I can just plug and play. I mean, if it was, it'd be cool a little bit. It would be, but that ain't life. That's not life. Life is going to be presented with challenges. There's going to be something difficult. There's going to be a roadblock. There's going to be something that it's going to happen, and depending on how I react, depending on how it affects me, which direction am I going to go? Am I going to go left? Am I going to go right? Am I going to turn around and go the other way? Or am I going to go straight? Or some variation of the options that are there for me. I do know one thing, though. I am not necessarily the one that would take the path of least resistance, where I just go ahead and just go a direction because it provides the least amount of heartache, least amount of stress, the least amount of whatever. And then that kind of like solves nothing, unless it is actually the best route and the best route to go. I don't necessarily back down from challenges. much as I challenge myself, much as I create challenges when there is no challenge to begin with, if there's a natural challenge placed upon me, I'm definitely not going to like it, because who really likes things being put on or placed upon them when it's not something that they wanted to begin with? No one. But I'm also will take it and look at it as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to use all the tools that I have in my tool bag to try to figure it out, to try to meet the challenge, to try to do something different, even if it's something that I deemed easy, even if it's something that I deemed that I can just do. Is there a different way that I can do this? Is there a more efficient way? Is there, and there's a lot of different factors, and there's a lot of different ways I can approach it. And it just depends on the situation. It just depends on what's happening. It just depends on where I am and how quickly can I get to my happy place. And I guess that's why I sort of came full circle with the patience thing. And I'm definitely working on this because it wasn't that I shut down. It got to the point where there was some conversations, there was some just arguments, there were just some just word salads, just random information that was nonsensical. Just, hey, let's just throw some words together. Let's just create some conspiracies. Let's just, I'm pretty sure many people like this. No judge zone. Definitely not judging. This is an observation, making an observation on an observation so you can observe as well. I'm pretty sure you've observed this. If not, you are probably the one. There was a point where I just not necessarily shut down, but I just didn't have the time for it. I value time. Time is definitely something that I value. You can go back and check the historical documents on this. With time, you can't get it back. So I place a high value on time. And that just led me to utilizing my time efficient. So if there was some odd, and I'm being nice because I'm not judging, but this is an observation. If there was an odd argument, if there was an odd conspiracy or abnormal, something that isn't normal or within the norms, I would hear it. I would attempt to have a conversation, and then I would bounce, bail. It's like, okay, I see where this is going. I'm out. And that just became almost like a routine. That just, sure, it saved me time. And I value time. But looking back on it, it also closed down an opportunity to get a better understanding of what I deem is odd, or what everyone else deem as odd, different, abnormal, strange. And there wasn't any additional information that I was getting other than, okay, this, bounce, this, bounce, this, bounce. And as I was saying, now, as I look back on that, even though I don't have any regrets, and I don't look at that as, okay, maybe it was wrong. No, I'm looking at that as I wasn't in a place And I'm still truly, truly not in that place where I could be thoughtful and actually continue and hold a thoughtful conversation with that. But after thinking and after having so many different experiences and after being able to just test some things out and figure some things out internally, I'm more likely than not to actually spend some time on this or those arguments or those situations just a little bit more to get an understanding of how did we get to this thought? How did we get to this process? I'm not there to change the thought process because we know how that is. You're not changing somebody's mind if their mind is set, period, point blank. And that was one of the things that led me to, okay, bounce. Now I'm more likely to try to understand, try to figure out how did we get, and when I say we, I mean you, the person. How did they get to that process? Not necessarily judging the process because this is a no judge zone, but it is what it is sometimes. It is what it is sometimes. But how did that thought process, how did those thoughts come about? Where did this stem from? And it's not for me to use that and throw it back and weaponize it. It's for me to get a better understanding, for me to have a different level of thought and have a different way to view something that I would not view it that way, to get more information to add to my toolbox, more information to add to my repertoire, more information to add to basically how I do things and how I process. Because I don't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. Some wrong answers can lead to a right answer. Some wrong answers can spark creativity. So I'm looking at each experience and I'm placing some value on it, even if time can be wasted or time will be wasted. But that's the other thing. This isn't going to be a back and forth or a true. This isn't going to be a back and forth or a true argument per se. Nah, I ain't doing that. I ain't that far in this process. I ain't that far down this path. What I'm saying is I'm more likely to spend more time before I bounce. Spend more time before I hit the deuces. Spend more time before I just say it's time for me to the G to the go. G to the go. Because I'm not going to change and I'm not trying to change your process, how you think. I'm trying to understand, but I also will say how I got to my process and we can go from there. However, however, angelic bird-like voice. However, I do want to at least let it be known that long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurtful, and you're not berating, belittling, and some of the other things transferring the negative energy, and it is a positive situation, and it is good and there is actually information flowing freely, I can stay. There's no time limit on the interaction. There's no time limit on the experience because it is mutual beneficial in a sense where it's the sharing of whatever. Even if I don't take this information and say, this is now my new principle. This is now how I'm going to do things. This is now how. And the other person doesn't have to take what I'm saying the same way either or either. But just having the flow of information and the willingness to hear the information and not just reject it regardless, but just have it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to need it, but just know that it's there. That's fine. But the negative, the other stuff, no. That I definitely can transfer over from my customer service experience to experience or having a conversation with ideas or having a conversation with polar opposite opinions, polar opposite views. Because just because it's different and not the same on that level and we're not hurting anybody, that doesn't mean you are. Yeah. You get it. Thank you for listening. Check out extra.vdgsports.com. That's the website. And this episode, as you know by now, is not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, and everything in between. There's a YouTube as well. VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, and share. Sharing is caring. Comment if you must, comment if you may. You know what to do. Peace. Out. Yeah, ain't doing it that long.